Hey everybody, Sunfire Fire here. So, as we all know, I graduated with from Southern New Hampshire University with my history degree, um, a master's. Um, I went and published my thesis, and now I have. I just got the hard copy 2 weeks ago. So the title is on the side because it's kind of like a periodical. So it's easier to find what you're looking for when you put it on a bookshelf because you see the spine. But my mom was a little disappointed when I gave it to her because this is my dad's copy and I'm sending it to him. Um, but it was very at first when I showed it to my mom, she was like, "What is this?" And then she had to put on her glasses and it's like, "What is this?" And then I said, "Mom, that's my name." And she's like, "Oh my gosh!" So, my last name is on here. The title and the people who published it is ProQuest Dissertations and Theses. Um, so here is the title. Here's the cover page. So it says Southern New Hampshire right here. And Buddhism in the West, 1960s America. And by yours truly. And here is just the signature of them giving me permission of the dean and my instructor giving me permission to publish it. Here is the abstract. Here is the lovely table of contents. Oh my gosh, I got a book. I actually had to buy the hard copy. I can publish it for free, but I had to buy the hard copies of it. And I had to pay like $35 for copyright. So it says copyright too on I think on the back on the last page it says that it's copyrighted. Yeah, see, ProQuest and then all information. Yeah, so here is my preface. Preface. Yeah, the same preface. And I'm just giving a backstory on like why I chose this. Says this essay was inspired because I find it fascinating applying social, cultural, and philosophical lenses to historical events. Writing this essay has given me a chance to dive deeper into the movements that I learned about in grade school and also have an in-depth view on a religion that is not talked about primarily in Western community. I have always had a fascination with Buddhism after I wrote a paper on the way that the Yuan dynasty and the Mongol Empire on the Wei Yuan dynasty and the Mongol Empire. I messed that up. I concluded through my research was that one of oh my gosh, I can't read that one of their tactics in conquering China and Tibet was their incorporation of Buddhism. The Mongols used the heritage of Tibetans and Chinese with Buddhism to create a system that benefited the people while staying loyal to a foreign empire. And then my acknowledgments to my wonderful family that helped me with this essay and supported me. So thank you to my aunt and uncle who are Buddhist. But they're Buddhist. Their type of Buddhism is not in my essay though. But my uncle lent me a lot of his books to help me in my essay. So props to him. And I also have a glossary. I got a glossary. Ooh. And my introduction. I'm not, if you want me to, I can read this whole book to you. No, I'm not. But you'll just have to buy it. Or, you can also access it online too. But usually with those types of databases, you have to have like a subscription, and most of the time you get it from your school, but because they're expensive. So yeah, I got everything in here. My citations at the bottom. Everything. I even got a picture. This picture is a woman in a business in Japan, and they're practicing Shintoism. A lot of companies in Japan pray for like having a good fiscal year or something, and like having a good company worth ethic. So that is something I learned while doing this. And I don't even think I ever heard of the Shinto or maybe I did, but it's like, since no one ever really talks about it. And so that derives from Buddhism. So I talked about that. And so basically I basically talked about for like my thesis is I don't know if I talked about it in another video, but I basically, you know what, this is why I have table of contents, because I forget what I wrote. 3 types of Buddhism, which I go over, is the Theravada Buddhism, which is the first one is the School of Elders, also known as the School of Elders, which originated in India. They have Mahayana Buddhism, which is basically, it was made popular by Tibet. It's like it branched out from Theravada, obviously. So that's the most popular type. And then it has Vajrayana Buddhism, which is it's kind of within Mahayana, but it kind of also has not really exactly Mahayana. Again, I'm not a huge expert on Buddhism. But obviously I wrote a paper, thesis about it. So I'm interested in it. But I'm not like, don't know everything about it. Um, so the first chapter, I talk about the 3 types of Buddhism, and so that's the basis of my whole entire thesis. And in the second chapter, I talk about the hippies and the psychedelic movement. And then I talk about, in the third chapter, I talk about Black America's liberation, and the fourth chapter, second wave of feminism. So for the second chapter, I link that up to Vajrayana Buddhism. And then for the third chapter, I link that to Mahayana Buddhism. And then for the fourth chapter, I link that to Theravada Buddhism. And then it is my conclusion. And that is like 4 pages. And then it's by bibliography. And you know what, guys? I even cited myself, which I am so happy I did, because I wrote a paper in my Chinese imperialism class. I wrote a paper, like I said in my preface. I wrote a paper on the Mongol dynasty, and so now in this one, I cited myself. It's in here. I was like, I made it. I cited myself. I'm a scholar. When you cite yourself, I was like, ooh, feels so good. It's like, yes, I said myself, I am a true scholar. Feels so good. I was just so excited. It was like, I can actually use something that I said in a previous thing to put in this. And this is, oh, I can't get over that. It's like, I was just like, I made it. I made it. And then get sent a periodical. I made it. Even though I ordered this, I made it. I did. Um, so yes. Um, I don't know why I just gloated so much, but I did it. And I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. I'm just, oh, this is it. This is it for me. Well, this is not it for me, but I hope there's more to come about me, of me writing and it getting well known. So I don't know, but hopefully, I don't know what the future will hold, but right now I am happy. And also, right now I am, like I said, I'm trying to do a little more with I'm trying to do hit my history degree. I don't know if I want to. I'm just, I'm struggling with, like, because I really like early education, but I'm struggling also with with wanting to do history, freelance writing, and it's just like, I've heard that I've heard that it can be a little hard to have teaching with um, writing, and I even thought about that even before um, like like in the beginning when I started my degree, like if I want to write, I have to, because I have to figure out lesson planning. I have to, and then I'll have to have like dedicated time to find out how to write stuff, and it's just sounds a little hard, but I will find a way. I hope I will find a way. I yeah, I really hope I'll find a way, because I love writing, and like um I remember that at first I thought I only liked writing history, but then when I was just starting to clean out, obviously, because see, my closet needs to be cleaned out. I have so many stuff. Um, and I was trying to clean out my closet like last week. I found my old notebooks, and I just loved to write. I used to write poetry when I was in high school. I used to, and I don't think anybody really knew that. Not even my family knew about that. I used to write a lot of poetry. I used to write a lot of I used to write a lot of fiction. Um, uh, there was one that I was really proud of. Maybe I'll talk about it some other time. And yeah, it was really nice looking back at it, and it was just like, why did I stop doing this? But I mean, it's straining because like you have to think of something, like you have it in your head, and it's just like you have to think of words to put down, and then you're just like, is this good? Is this? And you know what? I think when I was in high school, the reason why but I did write a lot. The reason why I wrote these short stories is because I was thinking I was thinking of putting it out there, but I wasn't I didn't really have a set mind of putting it out there. I wrote it for me at first, and I think when I was writing it, um, I think that um, my description of what I want my characters and the setting to look like was very good for being in high school and never taking a writing class before. And I think, um, I mean, in college, I did do script writing for like a little bit, but I did take a script writing class for a little bit, but I didn't. Yeah, it was just that's I withdrew from that after a while. Um, Not because I was bored with it, but because I just the people in there were just a little full of themselves. They were drama. They were majoring in theater arts, and they just gave off poshiness. Um, so I think my the way that my writing style is, I feel a little bit like I haven't read Harry Potter in so long, but I feel like I can attribute it. Like I got a lot of my writing style from J.K. Rowling, and it's just like when I was younger, because like I started reading the books when I was a very little kid. Like I was the only person when I was like I think yeah when I was in kindergarten I was the only person who could read. I was the only kid who could read like an actual book. Like I think my kids in kindergarten were starting to read, but I at that point could already read like a whole entire book, and I even wrote a book and set in and wrote a book and read it to my classmates. And I think I don't know when it came out. Did it come out? Did Harry? I don't know if Harry Potter came out when I was in the beginning of first grade or the end of kindergarten for me, which was in 1999. I have to look that up. I could be wrong, but I know, but I loved how she described everything, specifically the first Harry Potter book. I because I was so young, I was impressionable, and just I really think that her writing style is very descriptive, and it put me in that mode of loving to read, loving creativity and stuff like that. And I think that's what got me into loving to write. Well, that's one other things. I yeah, I just and it really pains me now to see that now just everyone like just dunking on J.K. Rowling because of that one tweet she had, which is also very true. I don't understand like why everyone's so mad. Everyone thinks she's transphobe just for saying that. Not everyone has periods. Only women who were born of the sex have periods, and that's not transphobic. That's just you wanting to be in that's just you not being mad that the world is not the way you want it to be. And yeah, it's just sad because I've seen people on TV say that she's not a good writer. And it's just like people are just like, oh, we should have Harry Potter, but we can get rid of J.K. Rowling. You can't have Harry Potter without J.K. Rowling. That's just stupid. So, but I still think she's a really good writer, and she she's a really good writer. She's written I've actually never read this Cursed Child, I think it's called. Um, I think my Harry Potter days were over at that point, obviously, because it came out when I was in college. So I didn't, and I obviously I didn't have time to read a lot of books because I was in college. Um, I didn't know how to handle college life yet, or juggle college work, so I didn't really do that. So I didn't read the book, but like she wrote, I read 7 of her books, and they were very high, um, and they're very well known to this day. So it's just like, even if you've never read the books, you've seen the movies. But I didn't see all the movies, but I read all of the books except the last one. But yeah, this 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 is I feel like I need writing in my life. I need to write. And even if I only do like a even if I feel like even if I do a a little article for like a magazine, like this is, I'm looking at the Smithsonian, oh my gosh, and other places like that, for to write like history, and maybe even a little about education. I mean, I do like, we don't really talk about a lot of child um or preschool stuff about education and with education, because a lot of people don't even treat us a lot of people don't even treat education teachers as real teachers. We're just qualified babysitters, and it sucks. So I'll maybe even write about that. And a lot of people don't know about psychology. I'm trying to get my certificate in child psychology. There's actually not a lot of work, not a lot of studies on children in psychology. A lot of adults about psychology. When you're talking about psychology, you're mainly talking about adults. You almost never hear about children. And there is a demand for that. So maybe I'll write about that. I know there are some places, like I looked up the Atlantic. They would love for you to talk about education, so maybe I could look at that. And we basically early educations are basically the way for kids to want to learn, because if they don't want to learn, they're not going to become scholars. They're not going to become the next Albert Einstein. They're not going to become the next Mark Zuckerberg. Well, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg left college, but he has a high school education. um they're not going to have a high school education, because they're going to drop out, because they don't think it's necessary to have the education. So even as fundamental as high school education, so and there are a lot of kids in this world who don't have who would love to go to have education. And it's saddening when you have like these kids who would really love to learn, but you have teachers who don't give a crap about you. And like, early education teachers are the building blocks for education throughout grade school and throughout college. Just showing that someone cares about you, even when you're that young, shows that will potentially be able to find a way to have a progressive trajectory of education. So I think like, if I also writing about education is it, especially about early education, is pretty um, important. So this has been a very long video. And I'm going to now get off. Bye.